Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about selecting a caliber. Um, which caliber will suit you the best for what you're doing. And I wanted to show you this. I've been interested in different kinds of bullets and different kinds of bullet weights and cartridges ever since I was a kid. I've got 30 years put into this, and I've got a lot of the old cowboy cartridges. My favorite family is the 45 cowboy family, where I've got the 4570, the 4590, the 45 120. And what's cool about this is a lot of friends have given me different bullets for my collection. I've got some real oddballs from all over the world. Starting with pistols, this is my pistols, starting with 22 clear up to 500 Win Mag, or 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. I've got some black powder rounds. I've got a few muzzle loader rounds from 50 up to 54. And then starting from here in the rifle family, I go from 22s all the way clear down to 50s down here. And then I've got my shotguns. And the shotguns are really cool because it goes from 410 all the way up to 8 gauge. And what surprised me was there's actually a 14 gauge out there. So a good friend of mine gave me that 14 gauge cartridge, which was cool. Up top, I've got the African Safari rounds, a few of them. The 416 Rigby, the 505 Gibbs, and then I've got a 20 millimeter anti-aircraft shell, which is really cool. That's a 20 millimeter anti-aircraft cartridge. And but the point that I was going to make today is how do you know what caliber to pick for what you're doing? Now I want to show you kind of what interests me. My two favorite calibers, the 243 and the 4570. These two cartridges are about as opposite from one another as you can get, but I have a purpose for it. Now the 4570 has anywhere between a 300 grain and a 500 grain slug. I like the 400 grain slug, moving out at about 1800 feet per second, because basically anything I've ever hit with this cartridge, I never get an argument. I never have to chase any game. Doesn't matter how big it is. It could be the biggest elk in the world. He's going down when he gets hit by a 4570. And that's what I love about the 4570 is it was designed for hunting big game. And I think this is the smallest cartridge that's recommended for some of the African game. The 243 I really like because from a distance, if I'm 300 yards or more, I can use this cartridge. I've got plenty of time to put my zero on my animal, and I can do pinpoint accuracy shots with a 243 from any distance over 300 yards. Is why I really like that bullet. And so anyhow, what I wanted to talk to you about is the argument that's between velocity and kinetic energy. So this is a velocity cartridge, and it's a small cartridge, about 95 grains to 100 grains. Sometimes you can get a little bigger, and it's what it's designed for is trajectory, long distance trajectory, and it does its job really well. But you got all kinds of cartridges from here all the way up. 270 is another fantastic velocity cartridge. This is a 270, and the 270 comes from a parent cartridge, the 3006, and the 3006 is probably one of the greatest parent cartridges ever known. It's a 30 caliber with this case, and it's been rechambered in 27, which is the 270. It's been chambered in the 280, the 35 Whelan, and even this right here. This is a 6.5 Swedish Mauser. The 6.5 Swedish Mauser and the 7.5 Argentine Mauser. You can make both of these cartridges from an empty 270 or 3006 casing. The 3006 is arguably one of the main and most used parent cartridges. It's also a parent cartridge to the 308 and several other hunting rounds and military rounds that are still used today. So here's another idea for you guys. It isn't just the case capacity for the powder and the different types of bullets and bullet weights. They have different shoulders as well. Some are immediate, some are more gradual, some are straight wall, and all these different changes affect the flight of the bullet. And kinetic energy is quite a bit different. There are very few kinetic energy guys out there anymore that really like hunting with a kinetic energy cartridge. But the 4570 for me is number one. I love this cartridge. And here's an argument. I had a buddy with a 30-06, and I was using my 4570, and we both got deer that same day. And he was thinking, oh man, you're going to have a lot of bloodshot with that big of a bullet. But the 4570, with the 405 grain slug moving out at 1600 to 1800 feet per second, had less bloodshot, and I lost less meat than him with his 3006 at the same distance. And it's because it's moving so fast. That round is moving out at 27 to 2800 feet per second, and it just creates a shock wave through the animal, and creates a lot of bloodshot. Where the 4570 very rarely goes through your animal. It hits, and just the sheer force of the kinetic energy is what kills. So mainly, a couple of the things you need to keep in mind is what distance are you going to be shooting from, because the 4570 is the famous 150-yard gun. You need to think about what kind of game animal you're going to be shooting at, and what kind of terrain. If you're going to be shooting in thick brush, you definitely want what's commonly called a brush gun, 4570. Or I have another rifle that's chambered in 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, and it does the same job, maybe even a little better out of a rifle. But anything will deflect a 243. It'll deflect easily, but for what it's designed for long distance open areas, it's excellent. And 270 as well, 6.5s, all these families of velocity. So it's an argument of anytime you want one or the other, you're going to lose in this area. If you want kinetic energy over here, you're going to lose velocity over here unless you increase the cartridge capacity, which is going to create more recoil. Yeah, now I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. When I was a young guy, I've always loved pistol hunting. But as a young guy, I used to love the great big huge hand cannon cartridges, the hog legs, the 44 Magnum, the 454 Casull, and that's about the largest they had when I was a young guy. But anymore at my age, recoil bothers me. I don't know why. But anyhow, my favorite cartridge now is the 357 Magnum. It's just a dead-on cartridge. I don't mess with it. It's accurate, it's deadly, and the recoil I can handle without shrugging, and it's very comfortable for me. So basically, you got to find the right cartridge that works for you and that you're comfortable with. So it's a constant balancing act, and you have an endless barrage of cartridges to choose from. So just do a little bit of homework, find out which one's comfortable for you, which one's ideal for the terrain and the animal that you're going after, and find the cartridge that's perfect for you.